The corpse god was considered one of the most powerful beings in the world, and an organization wanted to kill him. But before the enemy could do it to him, he was able to go to another world. One day, the Geldwood warriors attacked the powerful corpse god. Due to the extreme strength of the corpse god, many died immediately among those who attacked him. A few moments later, the main subjugation unit of Geldwood also arrived. This group was led by Shigurua, who was nicknamed Calamity Crusher. He fought his opponent alone, until the corpse god released its disciple, which was a dragon. Shigurua used one of his weapons, and defeated the dragon easily. Then his battle with the corpse god continued, as they alternately used their intense attacks on each other. After a while, the corpse god released a lot of undead soldiers. Shigurua used his evil eye, and he suddenly remembered his past in their village, where the souls that he could see blamed him. This also included the souls of those they killed when he became a member of the Geldwood. Because of this, the corpse god immediately found out that he possessed an evil eye just like him. After he blasted the undead soldiers with his attack, he rushed and used his sword on them. Then he attacked the stone wall above, causing it to collapse onto the corpse god and the undead soldiers. After he attacked the corpse god with his sword, he saw a brain inside the jar and was bound in chains. He immediately knew that this was the true form of the corpse god. The corpse god suddenly released a type of magic which was not familiar to him. But he still rushed at the enemy and received extra magic from Rikuria. When he attacked, he successfully broke the shield of the corpse god. It was here that the corpse god suddenly woke up in a different world, using another body with a wound on its neck. He also wondered about the strange walls that he saw, because the surrounding was not familiar to him. When he came out of this alley, he was surprised by what he saw. He did not know that a man, named Takumi, had been watching him, and was surprised that he was still alive. Takumi immediately informed the others that the target was leaving the location and stopped the plan in taking its body. He continued walking until he decided to sit on a bench and observed his surroundings. When he stood up, he suddenly thought about the status of the world where he came from and those children who were with him before. Two police officers approached him, but he could not understand what they were saying. But because he used his power, he immediately learned the language of this place, and he also found out the real name of the body which he was currently using as Polka Shinoyama. These policemen were about to help him to treat his wound when a woman suddenly came there. She pulled him, and they ran away from the policeman. When they walked into an alley, it was here that the girl introduced herself as Misaki. Polka suddenly remembered something about Misaki, that she was laughing. After Misaki made sure that he was really alive, she pulled out a weapon to kill him. It turned out that just a few hours ago, she was the one who did the thing to his throat. That was the moment when he remembered everything Misaki had done to his current body, so he quickly ran away from her. When he reached a building to hide, Misaki came and quickly found him. She attacked him. Fortunately, he managed to escape. She continued to attack Polka, and even if he could easily dodge it, he knew that he would still have a hard time using this body. As he was about to run away again, Misaki hit his leg with her weapon. Because of his will to escape, he pulled out the knife and threw it back at Misaki, and he tried to get away from her again. He went into a room to hide, but Misaki got there immediately and hit him again with her knife. He tried to get up, then he leaned on the wall. Misaki told him to what kind of room they were in, and there were rumors that there were ghosts in it. Polka agreed to this, because it turned out that he could already use his evil eye, since he could see the souls in the room. When Misaki attacked, he stopped her using his power. Meanwhile in the other world, Shigurua could still feel that he had not yet completed his work in defeating the enemy. This was because he knew that the corpse god's spell had worked, and he used the teleportation magic. Then the soul of the corpse god suddenly disappeared. He was not sure if he was able to eliminate it after their fight. Rikuria told him that the church observation unit had sent a report, and it said that all traces of the corpse god in their world had disappeared. When Polka got up, he approached Misaki and was about to continue their fight. Since Misaki still had not moved, he thought that she was just pretending, but when he checked on her, she was dead already. Takumi immediately called their leader, named Clarissa, to show the video of Misaki's whereabouts. Misaki's past was shown about the day that her parents were killed, until the moment when she got the chance to avenge them. She worked with Clarissa as an assassin, and one night, she was given a task to kill Polka. Even though Polka was just a normal child, Misaki still accepted the order since she had already accomplished her goal in life. Thinking that she had killed Polka, she decided to end her life too. When she jumped, Takumi called her phone, so she did not continue her plan to commit suicide. She found out that Polka was still alive, and she was told to finish her job before she do whatever she wanted to do. When Clarissa and her companions arrived to that location, Polka was trying to revive Misaki. They noticed one of Takumi's drones that was floating even though it was not working anymore, and according to Takumi, he lost his control of it. After Polka healed Misaki's wound, he spoke to Clarissa. Clarissa introduced herself and her group as Misaki's colleague, and she asked Polka what he did to Misaki. Polka answered this, but because they had no knowledge of magic, they could not understand him. Because of this, Polka tried to tell them that it was just a hallucination. And since Clarissa no longer believed what he was saying, he intended to use force on them using his magic. Clarissa asked for time to think, but they suddenly heard the siren of the fire department. According to Takumi, there was a fire that currently burning the Shikuzawa building. He sent the video to Clarissa, and they were surprised to notice an eye on Clarissa's shoulder. When Polka found out that there were children inside the burning building, he begged her to bring him there. Clarissa asked why he wanted to save the children, and he said that he had been burned several times, and that the children should not experience the same pain. Because of this, Clarissa asked Takumi to show Polka the way to reach the building. Using Polka's power, he quickly arrived at the burning building. He used the power of his evil eye to see the exact location of the children. Then he immediately went to them, and he saw in the room the souls of the parents of these children. He asked them for help, and had them use the skeletons that he brought out. Because of this, he was able to successfully save the children. But what he did was captured by other people and posted it on the social media. A few moments after Polka returned to Clarissa's place, Misaki also woke up. When she noticed that they were surrounded, Clarissa appeared to her. She hugged her, and Clarissa confirmed that she was already dead because her body was cold and she already lost her pulse. Polka added that in Misaki's situation, she could be compared to a zombie. When Polka and Clarissa talked, Polka also thought that even in an advanced world where he was in, there were still children who were suffering. Clarissa asked him what his plan was, and he said that if he was the only necromancer in this world, he would use his power to make money. He also wanted a place where he could live peacefully. Because of this, Clarissa offered him her help so that he could fulfill his wishes. And in order for him to quickly adjust to this world, Clarissa assigned Misaki and Takumi to be his companions. He decided to live in the building, so Takumi had no choice but to move his things there. As for Polka's family, Clarissa's group thought of a way that the authorities would not suspect him. Polka also talked about his life in another world where the group of Geldwood wanted to kill him. But right now, he planned to find out who paid to order the assassination of Polka because he wanted to talk to this person. He said that he tried to ask Clarissa, but she did not say anything about the client's name. Because of this, he had to conduct his own investigation. Takumi asked him if he was okay with Misaki being with him because she was the one who killed the real Polka. He answered him and said that the real Polka told him to forgive Misaki. Takumi was surprised that he could also talk to Polka's soul. When he pointed to the device, Takumi realized that Polka's soul was in his drone, and this was the reason why he could no longer control it. A few moments later, a man met Misaki to offer a job to her. Misaki was supposed to reject it, but suddenly, Polka came there to accept the job while looking at the man's feet. Because of this, Misaki also agreed to accept the job. At night, when they arrived at the place, the man told Misaki that Jinba's men or the group that Misaki had taken revenge before were also their current target. After Misaki heard this information, she immediately approached the building, but it turned out that the enemies were also waiting for her. Even though there were many of them, she easily beat them all. When she was able to knock down most of the enemies, the man who was with her attacked her from behind. It turned out that he was also an accomplice, and one of Jinba's staff, who wanted to take revenge on Misaki after she killed their boss. They did not know that Polka was just right behind them, and after a few moments, Misaki got up again. Because of this, she once again beat the enemies. Takumi called Polka, and it was only here that Takumi found out that the job which they accepted came from the souls attached to the man. After this, Polka locked the enemies in the land, and the souls were also released. There were two enemies who managed to escape and were going to get weapons, but they were surprised to find their things scattered on the floor. Suddenly, one of them was attacked by lemmings, and he also grabbed the other one inside the room. After that, Polka and Misaki got home, and while they were eating, Polka mentioned what might happen to someone once Misaki bite a person. Misaki tried this on Polka, and he was immediately affected by it. Meanwhile, lemmings went to the people which Polka locked on the ground to set them free. But during that time, there were police officers nearby who heard something and went to the area, so lemmings decided to leave immediately. When the police saw the bodies, the head of the material compiling group number 3, named Tsubaki, went to see it, along with one of their members, named RSE. After they investigated it, they immediately met their group on its possible connection with the other case which they were investigating. This includes what Polka did in the burning building and other cases associated with lemmings. Polka transferred the soul of the real Polka to a stuffed animal, and Takumi was happy to recover his drone. He also intended to find a way in order for the real Polka to speak to them. He would only need a fresh human vocal cords, but he knew that he would need a lot of mana in the process. Because he knew that there were mana stones in this world, he thought of using them instead. These were the gemstones, like diamond and sapphire, and he wanted to get a bucket of them. But he did not expect that such stones were so expensive in this world, unlike in the world he came from, that even a child could buy it easily. After they left the shop, and while Takumi's drone was following them, Takumi was surprised to see RSE on the street. RSE immediately grabbed the drone because he knew that it belonged to Takumi. On the other hand, Tsubaki went to Clarissa to ask her about her relation on the fire incident because Takumi's drone was spotted there. He had also mentioned the new case which they were currently investigating, wherein Jinba's personnel were involved. Since RSE did not know that Polka and Misaki were companions of Takumi, he just let them go. But Polka suddenly spoke to him and told him that his friend owned the drone. Because of this, RSE found out that they had a connection to Takumi. So he advised them to stay away from Takumi because he was just a trash. With these words, Polka got angry, causing RSE to suddenly move away, and Polka got the drone from him. Takumi told Polka not to show RSE his power, and besides, he was also a police officer. RSE was about to approach Polka again, but Takumi called his cell phone to talk to him. Takumi ordered him to let Polka and Misaki leave, because if not, he would spread the video once he hurt them. Then RSE told Polka and Misaki about Takumi's true nature, that he could betray other people just to save himself. But Polka did not care about this, and this made RSE feel that Polka was not just a normal child. When Polka turned to Misaki, she suddenly disappeared, and RSE realized that she was behind him, which was why he could not avoid her attack. Then she pulled Polka to run away, and RSE immediately followed them. But when RSE got out of the alley, he could not see them anymore. He did not know that they were just right above him. When RSE returned to their office, he asked Saki to investigate the footprint from Misaki's attack. Saki remembered the footprint seen in the human knot incident. This was also one of the important footprints other than lemmings. This made RSE even more suspicious that Misaki was connected to the human knot case. Little did they know that Lemmings was already inside their office, who also wanted to know who was behind the human knot case. Tsubaki decided to drink first, while talking to Clarissa about the cases that they were investigating. After a while, Polka and Misaki came there, and since they looked like students, Tsubaki noticed them right away. While choosing which bottle of wine he would drink next, Tsubaki received a message from RSE. He described the person who's possibly involved in the human knot incident, and Tsubaki immediately saw the resemblance to Misaki. So he made a way to be with them by treating them with food, while he was waiting for RSE and the others. A few minutes later, RSE's group arrived at the bar, and Clarissa just let them in. When RSE approached Tsubaki, Misaki recognized him immediately. It was only here that they found out that he was Tsubaki's colleague, and they wanted to ask them something. Suddenly, the power went out, and they thought that it was done by Clarissa, but it was not. Polka used her evil eye, and when they were about to run away, he noticed that there was a strange power inside the room which was also felt by Tsubaki and RSE. When Clarissa lit the candle, that was the moment when they saw Lemmings. When he came down, he seemed looking for someone, but Clarissa was sure that he had no intention of killing anybody in the room. But RSE and other policemen prepared to arrest him. Using Polka's evil eye, he could see that there were many souls behind Lemmings. All of a sudden, some policemen were thrown away because of Lemmings' attack, and RSE also rushed to him, and the two started to fight. When Lemming saw Polka and Misaki, he quickly approached Misaki. It turned out that she was the one that he was looking for, and he immediately lifted her on his shoulder. Polka wanted to save her, but he hesitated to use his power because the police might see it. RSE rushed at Lemmings again, but he still could not stop him. When Lemmings climbed up, Polka attacked him using his power. Polka managed to get Misaki back, and while Lemmings was still trying to take her back, Polka continued to attack him. Lemmings destroyed the skeleton which was holding Misaki, and he immediately approached her as well. Misaki tried to paralyze Lemmings with her bite, but because he was wearing bandage, it did not affect him. So she just used the fork that she was holding that contained her saliva, and this made Lemmings to weaken. Because of this, Polka got a chance to attack, and this caused Lemmings to retreat. After the fight that took place, it left a lot of damage to the bar. Meanwhile, Lemmings met one of the relatives and a nephew of the real Polka, named Takaru, who was also his boss. He told Takaru about Jinba's death as well as the news about Polka, who was still alive. When Polka and Misaki got home, Polka mentioned to them a wise ghost that he saw in the basement, so he attached it to Misaki's mechanical pencil. With this, the ghost was able to tell them what he wanted to say, and he introduced himself as Hozoroji. Polka also thought to start a business, so that he could earn money. Hozoroji came up with an idea that Polka should do the fortune-telling business. Because of the information that Takumi got from Polka's clients, and the souls that Polka was able to talk to, his business became an instant hit. On their first day, they made a lot of money. After a while, two children with bodyguards suddenly entered the room. It turned out to be the twins, Kazuki and Shizuki, who were Polka's nephew and niece, and Takaru's siblings. Since Polka was gone for half a month, they found out where he was and what he was doing through the fortune-telling business, so they decided to see him. Polka tried to fool them, but he did not succeed. Kazuki wanted Polka to tell her fortune, but since they were already closed, Takumi told them to go home first. Takumi argued with her, so Polka tried to stop them. Then Polka suddenly hugged her and so did Shizuki. It turned out that there was a soul following them and asking Polka for help to protect the twins. Polka promised to this soul that he would protect the children, and he mentioned the message of the real Polka that he would visit the mansion the next day. When the twins left, Polka told Takumi about the ghost that followed the twins and said that he could not just ignore it. Since he was sure that he would go to the place where the real Polka lived, Takumi had shown to him how rich the Shinoyama family was, and the position of the real Polka in this family. Polka was only the second son of the head of Shinoyama, named Rosen, so whatever happened to Rosen, it was sure that Polka would also inherit something from his father, and this was probably the reason why someone wanted to assassinate the real Polka. When the twins was about to get into the car, they were surprised to see their older brother inside. He also knew that the twins had met Polka, so the twins told him about Polka's plan to visit their house the next day. Rosen also found out that Polka was still alive, so he told himself that he could not leave this world yet. The next day, Polka went to the Shinoyama mansion, and Misaki was also with him. The twins greeted them, and after a while, Takaru also came out to face them. When Misaki introduced herself to them, Polka was surprised because all of a sudden, she was like a different girl. While they were eating and talking about Misaki's family, Polka remembered the information that Takumi gave them about the Shinoyama family. This included information about Takaru that they had to watch out for. They also met Takaru's wife, named Kiri, their other sister, named Seo, and the husband of Rosen's niece. A few moments later, Rosen came there, and he was immediately approached by his niece's husband to talk about the business. But Rosen did not want to talk about it at the moment, and because he was insisting about it, Rosen reprimanded him. Then Rosen asked Polka to come closer to him and invited his son to his residence. When they arrived there, Polka told him all about his past and what he was currently doing as a fortune teller. Polka thought he was going to fool Rosen, but the old man suddenly asked him who he really was. It turned out that Rosen already knew that he was not the real Polka, and because he was still trying to lie, Rosen aimed his sword at him. Rosen asked him if the real Polka was still alive, and when he was about to answer this, he suddenly felt that something was about to happen. Because of this, he told Rosen that he needed to see the twins immediately, and that he would explain everything later. Rosen gave him his permission, and when he left, it was here that Rosen's staff, who was also inside the house, spoke. Then something exploded in the mansion that Rosen also saw. Previously, on the day when Kazuki lost her purse in the forest, her sister Suzuka searched for it. But when Suzuka found the purse, she heard the conversation between a man and their cousin's husband. When she heard about their plans to the twins, she was shocked by this, and the two noticed her. She tried to run home to inform their grandfather and the twins, but she was captured and killed by these men. When the twins heard the explosion, one of the servants of their family approached them and told them to follow him because they needed to evacuate, and the twin obeyed. Meanwhile, Tsubaki and Arase visited the phantom Solitaire, who was also known by the name Tene Sorimura. Tsubaki showed to him the video of the fire that occurred in the Shikuzawa building where skeletons could be seen in one of the rooms. Tsubaki said that they suspected the fire-breathing bug who caused the fire because of the message it left on the wall. He also shared a theory that the culprit's job was to enter the lives of his target like a parasite, and he was also probably doing it now at the Shinoyama mansion. When the twins and their servant reached the door that supposedly led to the escape tunnel, Kazuki stopped because she knew there was no way out of this door. That was the moment when the man revealed his true plan to kill the twins, and when he was about to do this, Misaki suddenly kicked him. The man got up again and showed his true face. Misaki told the twins to run outside, which they immediately followed. Then the two started to fight, and due to the power of the enemy, the fire quickly spread throughout the room. Misaki also found out that this man had burned all the passage that the twins was supposed to use as an exit. When the twins were about to be hit by the burning woods, Polka came there just in time to save them. Because of this, they successfully got out of the mansion, and when Takaru saw them, he started his plan. His victim, who was the mastermind in the plan to kill the twins, had no idea that there were people following him, and they quickly abducted him. When the enemy saw that the twins were still alive, she decided to retreat first, but Polka was already by her side. It turned out that she pretended to be a maid, but Polka already knew her true identity. As she was about to try to run, Misaki, who also managed to survive the fire, suddenly kicked her. When the enemy got up, she attacked Polka, and while the fire surrounded the area, he noticed that there was another person next to her. It turned out to be Lemmings, who immediately knocked down the enemy and left immediately. Takaru had already confronted the mastermind in blowing up the mansion, but he still insisted on denying that he was the one who did it. Sorimura laughed at what Tsubaki said because he knew that Tsubaki was just lying. He was certain that the culprit in the cases mentioned by Tsubaki was just a fire-breathing bug imposter due to the lack of some part that only the police know about. And the imposter that they were referring to was currently with the police officers and was the one responsible on the fire at Shinoyama Mansion. This imposter was surprised when he felt the presence of the real fire-breathing bug. Because of what he did, he was attacked by a real fire-breathing bug. While the patrol car was on fire, the culprit was just watching it. Polka and Rosen talked again, and this time, Misaki was with them. Before Polka could explain, he begged Rosen if they could keep their conversation private, so Rosen asked his staff to leave first. It was then that Polka revealed the truth that he came from another world, and because of the eye that Polka had shown to him, Rosen immediately believed him. But he pointed the sword at Misaki because he also found out that she was the one who killed the real Polka. But he was immediately stopped by the real Polka. Rosen was shocked that the real Polka was in this stuffed animal. Then he suddenly laughed out loud at the current form of the real Polka. After that, he decided to let Polka because he saw that his son was safer in his current state. Even though he could not accept what Misaki did to his son, he let her go because she saved the twins. On the other hand, Tsubaki found out what happened to the patrol car where the fire-breathing bug imposter was killed. While Sorimura became more interested in the skeletons in the video and would like to see them again. But Tsubaki did not agree to this because he wanted him to give them information first about the fire-breathing bug. Because of this, Sorimura said that he was the one who would find a way, and suddenly, the light went out. When Arase turned on the flashlight that he was carrying, they were surprised to find that Sorimura was no longer there. It turned out that he was already outside the police station and enjoying his freedom. So Tsubaki immediately held a meeting with his group about Sorimura's escape. After their meeting, they were surprised that his escape was announced on television even though Tsubaki was sure that he had restricted the media about it. The group of Polka also heard the news from the radio that he bought. When Takumi heard that the Phantom Solitaire had escaped, he mentioned to them what he knew about it. He said that similar to lemmings, this solitaire was also an urban myth of Shinjuku. Tsubaki tried to change the channel but all they could see was the same live broadcast. When the reporter removed his glasses, they found out that it was Soramura. Since the whole country was watching the news, he also took this chance to promote the return of his performance. They had a hunch that Soramura bought an airtime from another criminal, called Grocer. They knew that Grocer was in jail, but Tsubaki was sure that this would not stop him from doing illegal things. At night, Soramura and the fire-breathing bug met at the top of a building. Suddenly, someone called Soramura, and he thought that it was Grocer, but it turned out to be the fire-breathing bug, who wanted to talk on their cell phone instead of face-to-face. He asked Soramura how he discovered him. Before Soramura could answer, he attacked him, which Soramura was able to block. After what Takumi said about Soramura, he asked Polka if there was someone like him in his world, or a known enemy of the state. Polka had some memories, and one of them was the King Killer, who was fought by the Calamity Crusher. When he heard about this, he realized that he could also be killed by the Calamity Crusher. He added that because of the books that he read from this world, he thought that there were also monster-like creatures living with them that were similar to their world. But it was also possible for them to find things in this world that were similar to their world, such as wind and fire elementals. Meanwhile, the fire-breathing bug continued to attack Soramura, while Soramura just kept on using his cards to block it. Until they talked about strange events like what happened in the Shikuzawa building. Suddenly, someone knocked in their room, and they thought that it might be Lemmings. But when they opened the door, it was just Seo with her bodyguard, named Xiaoyu. According to Seo, she would be living with them starting from that day. Xiaoyu showed them the message from Rosen, who begged them to accept Seo in their care. When Rosen mentioned that there were 2 of his staff in the building, Polka realized that he also felt that there were more people watching in the building. He also wondered if Seo was the mastermind in killing the real Polka, and if she was, then he could save more time. The next day, Tsubaki and RSE went to the Shinoyama mansion. They talked to Takaru, and they discussed about the fire-breathing bug imposter who started the fire in the mansion. They told Takaru of the possibility that yesterday's arsonist was the fire-breathing bug, but Takaru did not believe it. Tsubaki added that in order to know the truth, they still need to investigate it further. Yet Takaru reprimanded them because the fire-breathing bug was making too much trouble in their business, and the police had not yet caught him. He added about that the escape of the Phantom Solitaire, which caused the stock price to drop after it kidnapped the Prime Minister, and Tsubaki was embarrassed by this. After they left the mansion, RSE mentioned to him about 2 of Takaru's companions who were definitely criminals. Tsubaki showed the photo of the Shinoyama family where Polka was also there. They found out that Polka was in the mansion yesterday when the fire occurred. Tsubaki was already thinking that it was possible that they were about to face a fierce enemy, and he was not sure if it is Polka or Takaru. While Takaru was watching them, and he knew that Tsubaki could not be bribed with money. When one of his staff asked him if he wanted them to kill Tsubaki, Takaru told them to just let them go, and he hoped that Tsubaki would expose Polka's secret. At night while Seo was sleeping, Xiaoyu began to act and listen to the conversation of Polka. She believed that Polka was planning something, and she wanted to expose it to Rosen. She remembered the times when Rosen assigned her to be Seo's bodyguard. She also learned from him about Polka's condition, but Rosen assured her that he was not an enemy. Because of this, she would not only look after Seo, but Polka as well. Rosen did not know that since then, Xiaoyu could not really accept Polka as his son because of his weakness. She also remembered the day when her parents almost abandoned her, and fortunately Rosen bought her. This was the reason why she owed so much to Rosen. On the other hand, Polka and his companions were talking about the dragons in their world, so Xiaoyu thought that they were playing video games or reading light novels. She continued listening until she could hear what seemed like dancing skeletons, and she was not wrong about it. After a while, they talked about her, and she found out that Polka knew that she had not slept yet, so she thought that there was a camera above, but she could not see anything. The next day Tsubaki had a meeting with his group again, and they talked about Polka and Misaki. Among the things they talked about was Polka's connection to Clarissa and Takumi. Polka also told Arase that his parents sold him, and they do not know yet what it meant. What they knew was Polka's current job, and it was fortune-telling. While Polka and Misaki were preparing for work, someone suddenly entered their room, and when Takumi saw who it was, he quickly hid. It turned out to be Tsubaki and Arase, who also wanted to know their fortune. Tsubaki clarified to them that they would not ask about the fire even though he wanted to, because they were off duty at that time. Since Arase did not want to know his fate, Tsubaki was the only one who took this chance, so Polka told Misaki to take them to the other room. When Polka started to guess about Tsubaki, he still asked Takumi to get information about the client. Because everything Polka said was correct, Tsubaki thought that Takumi was helping him and that he was wearing an earpiece. But Tsubaki did not know that Polka was using his evil eye. Until someone who was close to Tsubaki got involved and was mentioned. Hosoroji, whose soul was in a pen, suddenly stood up, and this surprised Tsubaki. He wrote something on the paper, and when Tsubaki saw it, he immediately took it and asked Polka what he knew. It turned out to be a symbol that was shown to him by his old colleague at work, and he told him that he should not forget it. After a while, Tsubaki calmed down and apologized to Polka. He paid Polka, and before they left, Polka told them that the corpse god was the one who was telling this information and not Polka. But the two did not mind what he said, and just thought that it was Polka's new name as a fortune teller. Because of Tsubaki's actions, Xiaoyu thought to follow them because she might discover something to know about Polka's secret. Then she told Seo that she was going to buy them dinner, so she would have an excuse to get out of the building. After she finished shopping, she saw Tsubaki and Arase came out of a restaurant. On the other hand, while a man was taking something from the vault, they were attacked by the fire-breathing bug. After he killed everyone there, he also left immediately, and this was when Sorimura appeared. Before what the man took from the vault caught fire, he picked it up immediately and it turned out to be a symbol like the one shown to Tsubaki. While Tsubaki went to Clarissa because he suspected that she was the one who gave the information to Polka. And Xiaoyu was still following them and listening to the conversation. As the conversation continued, Tsubaki said that their mutual friend was the only one who knew what Polka had shown him earlier. Clarissa could not understand what Tsubaki was talking about, and to who was he referring to as their friend. Polka also told Takumi that he did not know what was written on the paper because the room was too dark. Then they found out that Hosoroji was the only one who voluntarily wrote it to show the symbol to Tsubaki, because Hosoroji was also the person that Tsubaki was referring to Clarissa. Clarissa immediately remembered him, and Tsubaki also suspected that Hosoroji recruited Polka, or it was Clarissa who was the one who had done this. This was contrary to their policy when Hosoroji was their leader before, because he did not want children to be involved, and Tsubaki did not want it either. Clarissa clarified that she did not recruit Polka, and she only helped him use the building. She added that she would not miss the opportunity to have a connection with one of the important members of the Shinoyama group. Tsubaki was worried that Polka and Misaki might be involved and this might cause Hosoroji to hide. Because of this, Clarissa was able to say that Tsubaki still believed that Hosoroji was still alive. Before he left, he told Clarissa that he would fix the police so that Hosoroji could come back to them. Because of what Xiaoyu heard, the personalities she had to investigate were added on the list. Meanwhile, Hosoroji talked about his previous job and why he and Tsubaki knew each other. Polka asked him what he had written that day, but Hosoroji asked for payment first. While Sorimura pretended to be a jail guard and visited Grocer in his jail. He wanted to get all the information that Grocer knew about the symbol that he got. Grocer did provide some information, but only about one line of the symbol. And for him to reveal all the information, Sorimura must pay the right amount first. Grocer told him that it only cost 3 trillion for the complete information. Sorimura could not believe it, so the grocer explained why he was asking so much. Grocer said that it might have a great impact on Sorimura's future, that if he mishandled it, it would surely poison and destroy him. After a while, Polka noticed many airships outside. When he noticed the symbol on the airship, he was surprised because it resembled the emblem of the fallen empire in their world. Polka remembered the day when his masters showed him this emblem. The prince came there who showed his drawing of the emblem, and it was the same symbol that they were seeing. Because of this, Tsubaki also showed Arase the symbol that he got from Polka, and it was similar to the ones on the airship. They discussed the personalities associated with this symbol. This include Hosoroji, who had been missing for 5 years. Suddenly, the old man Yamada approached to inform them that the head of the Metropolitan Police headquarters was now at their station, and he wanted to talk to Tsubaki. While Sorimura was on top of an airship and reading, 2 masked men targeted him. But it turned out to be a mannequin with a message for them too. He immediately went live stream to let people know what was done to him, and he was sure that there were people ready to take his life once he revealed the meaning of the symbol. He also mentioned that he was willing to give a reward to whoever could provide him with information about the symbol and the people who use this. After they watched Sorimura's live stream, Seo asked them about what she heard from Polka when they were watching the airships. Because of this, Polka had no other choice but tell everything to her. But they did not expect that Seo would believe this right away. Seo also told them her reasons why she could say that the one in front of her was not the real Polka. After this, Seo decided to take a bath and brought the stuffed animal where Polka was installed because she did not know yet that Polka's soul was there. While she was taking a bath, Misaki was already behind her. Misaki told her that she was the one who attacked the real Polka, and she wanted to know what she would do to her. But Seo knew that Misaki only wanted her to hurt her as payment for what he did to the real Polka. She added that she also had a hunch that the real Polka had forgiven her, so she would do the same. Because of this, Misaki became silent, and they started to talk as friends. While Polka and Takumi were just surprised to see the two of them become very attached to each other. Seo made it clear that she would not hire an assassin just to kill Polka, because she was only interested in sharks. It was only here that she found out that the real Polka was inside the stuffed animal. When Tsubaki met the superintendent general, named Takasu, they talked about Hosoroji for a while. Takasu thought that Tsubaki would get angry with what he said about Hosoroji, but Tsubaki was still calm after that. It was here that he said why he wanted to talk to Tsubaki. He wanted him and his men to join in the new group that would investigate Sorimura, because they knew that Tsubaki could contribute a lot in the mission. Meanwhile, Sorimura talked to someone who was inside the police station, and this person gave him information. Since many people wanted to try to hack into the police database, he learned that there was someone there who seemed to know what the police were looking for. And when this person specified the location of the hacker, it turned out to be where Polka's group live. As Polka prepared for their work, Takumi told him that he had not been able to find any information about the symbol even though he searched all night. Getting the information about it was so difficult that it was the reason for Hosoroji to be killed before he could discover the truth. Hosoroji had a hunch that the assassins were the ones who killed him, and not his target. So Takumi thought that the culprit might also be a policeman who wanted Hosoroji to be killed. While Xiaoyu was preparing their food, she was also listening to their conversation. On the other hand, the policeman started the meeting with Tsubaki in order to capture Sorimura again, and the other group was also with them. Tsubaki planned to also investigate the group who's using the symbol that Sorimura was following, because there was a high possibility that they would encounter him through this. Then Sorimura pretended to be an old man, and became Polka's customer. While they were in the middle of Polka's prediction, Sorimura asked him if he knew anything about the symbol that Solitaire was referring to. Polka pretended that he could not predict it, which he understood immediately. As Sorimura was about to leave, Polka asked him if he knew a woman who uses a wheelchair, and this surprised Sorimura. But Sorimura said that it might just his guardian spirit. When he came out, he wondered how the fortune teller knew the woman that was mentioned earlier. As he was leaving the building, Sorimura saw someone he knew, while Polka wondered why he had 2 consecutive customers who asked him the same question. After their meeting, Tsubaki and Arase were approached by 2 policemen who were Tsubaki's former colleagues when Hosoroji was still in charge. One of them argued with Tsubaki until he got pissed by Tsubaki's answers. As he was about to punch Tsubaki, Arase immediately stopped him. After Arase released his arm, Tsubaki's other 2 companions, named Danjo and Yatsu, came there and did something to this man and dislocate his arm. But they also immediately helped him to restore his arm to its right position, and lied that it happened because he fell hard to the ground. When Habaki came, the policeman whom Tsubaki argued also left. Because Habaki suspected that something happened, he reprimanded Tsubaki and then they started to act. While Xiaoyu was reading a message from her sister, she felt footsteps on the rooftop. It turned out to be Soramura, who had planned to confront Polka. Suddenly, someone attacked him and he thought it was Polka. But it was Xiaoyu, and Polka was soundly sleeping inside his room. The real Polka suddenly woke up and saw the fire on the wall with something being formed on it. It turned out that the fire-breathing bugs were also nearby who wanted to face Polka. Polka dreamed of an event in their world where a tragedy was taking place. He was a skeleton back there, and he was still with his master, who told him to prepare to leave the empire. He apologized because he failed to save those people that he was supposed to protect. Until he was considered as the enemy of their world. When the prince approached him in that dream, he woke up because the real Polka was forcing him to open his eyes. He immediately smelled something burning and was surprised to see the writings on the wall. When he touched what was written on it, someone suddenly called him. It was the fire-breathing bug, and he asked Polka if he was the bastard child of Sabramund. He immediately asked him why he knew that name. Meanwhile, Xiaoyu attacked Soramura again, and when he was able to block it, she started to use her weapon. She immediately attacked him, and this was seen by one of Takaru's men. When Takaru found out about this, he also decided that they would also take action to arrest Soramura. Polka asked the fire-breathing bug if Sabramund was in this world, or if he was also from the Empire, or was it also connected to the kingdom of Nyanhild. The fire-breathing bugs did not know what Polka was saying, but they considered him an enemy. Polka tried to look around, and saw other people around the building as well as Xiaoyu and Soramura. Xiaoyu continued to attack Soramura, then she asked him if he was also looking for Hozoroji. Soramura did not know him, but he used Hozoroji's name because he thought that he might discover something. When Xiaoyu was about to rush again, Lemming suddenly came there, and his presence was also felt by Polka. Since Xiaoyu did not know him, she thought that he was Soramura's colleague, so she attacked him. But Lemmings did not attack her because Takaru instructed him not to touch Xiaoyu no matter what. When Lemmings was about to approach Soramura, Xiaoyu tied him up and electrocuted him, but he was able to get free and tried to capture Soramura. The female fire-breathing bug was about to enter the building, but Yatsu was behind her, and Danjo was also there. Because of this, she also ended the conversation between her and Polka. On the other hand, Polka thought of his old companions in the other world, and decided to stop anyone from discovering them. Meanwhile, Polka's master, named Islas, was watching the fallen empire when Romelka approached her. It turned out that Romelka knew that Islas was only thinking about the corpse god, so they discussed about it. Islas mentioned the differences between her and the corpse god, and why he was better than her when it came to showing compassion for the dead. Because once he could feel that someone wanted to destroy what he considered his home, he would surely show his madness. As soon as Polka released his power, it was immediately felt by those people in the building. When the female fire-breathing bug felt that Polka move, she pretended that she was just looking for her missing dog. Just a few moments later, another fire-breathing bug came, and he was introduced as her father, saying that he was with her in the search for her dog. Polka expanded his netherworld overflow temple a little, which was one of those techniques that Islas taught him. Since both Soramura and the fire-breathing bug asked him about the symbol, he decided to capture them. He used his invisible hands so that what he was going to do could not be seen easily. While Lemmings was struggling to find the source of strange aura, Soramura took advantage of it to attack him, but something stopped his card. It turned out to be Polka's invisible hands, and it was trying to stop Lemmings from getting Soramura. Because of this, Soramura was able to create a smoke screen and use balloons so he could escape. But he was suddenly surprised to see the fire-breathing bugs. After a few moments, the hands that Polka released became visible, and because of this, the ordinary people were able to see them. Polka had a hard time catching Lemmings because he was lacking in power, so he tried to catch Soramura. While Soramura was avoiding those hands, Lemmings tried to catch him, but he failed to do it. Soramura successfully escaped from them, but the female fire-breathing bug was captured. After this, what Polka did using his power immediately spread on social media and received various comments from people's different opinions. This is the end of the Dead Mount Death Play Season 1. I hope you like it and give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel so you won't miss newly uploaded videos. Thank you for watching.